We want to take you to the United Nations, where the UN has just voted 15-0 for new sanctions against North Korea. You see Nikki Haley, the U.S. ambassador to the UN. Let's listen in.
Those sanctions fully banned textile exports from North Korea. They banned all joint ventures and all new work permits for overseas North Korean laborers. And critical to the regime's ability to develop its nuclear and missile programs, the previous resolution cut off 55% of refined petroleum products going to North Korea. Today, we cut deeper. After North Korea's September nuclear test, this council capped refined petroleum exports into North Korea. Today's resolution achieves an 89% total reduction of the Kim regime's ability to import gasoline, diesel, and other refined products. And should the North Korean regime conduct another nuclear or ballistic missile test, this resolution commits the Security Council to take even further action. It sends the unambiguous message to Pyongyang that further defiance will invite further punishment and isolation. The September resolution banned all new permits for North Koreans who work abroad and send the majority of their earnings to Pyongyang. This is a source of over $500 million each year to the Kim regime. Today's resolution goes further. It requires that countries expel all North Korean workers within 24 months. Previous resolutions banned 90% of North Korea's exports. This resolution bans all remaining categories of major North Korean exports, a loss of nearly $250 million in revenue to the regime. Previous resolutions cracked down on smuggling of banned items like oil and coal, but sanctions evasion has continued. So this resolution closes the loopholes in the system and requires countries to seize and impound ships caught smuggling illicit goods. The list goes on. The unity this council has shown in leveling these unprecedented sanctions is a reflection of the international outrage at the Kim regime's actions. But we're not the only ones who are appalled by the North Korean regime. We're not the only ones sacrificing for a solution, not even close. At our last meeting on North Korea, I called on all nations to sever diplomatic and trade relations with North Korea. I reiterate that call today. For any nation that continues to support the Kim regime, I ask you to consider the nature of this regime. Consider this crisis through the eyes of the North Korean people. Imagine being a North Korean soldier, so desperate and so ravaged by hunger and disease that you would take 5 bullets from your fellow soldiers in order to escape across the DMZ. Imagine being a 12-year-old in North Korea and being forced to attend public executions as a reminder of what would happen if you step out of line. Imagine being a mother so desperate for a better life for your child that you would risk rape, torture, and imprisonment if you were caught trying to leave the country. And then imagine getting caught, being forced to abort your baby without anesthesia, and then trying again and again to escape. These are real stories of real people. These things happened. They should motivate us to do more. I'm grateful to my colleagues for the serious measures we have enacted on behalf of the North Korean people, and I ask you keep them in your thoughts and prayers this holiday season as we continue to fight against this, the most tragic example of evil in the modern world. Thank you.
I thank the representative of the United States for her statement. I now give the floor to the representative of the United Kingdom.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week, we sat in this council and listened to the many ways that North Korea has violated multiple UN resolutions and the will of the Security Council. The illegal nuclear program, multiple launches of ballistic missiles, the appalling human rights violations. We condemned, in the strongest possible terms, these reckless acts by North Korea, and we called on them to stop immediately all that activity in defiance of this council. We also offered Kim Jong-un a clear choice, a different path which leads to prosperity and security. However, last Friday, the DPRK's permanent representative defiantly made clear that North Korea has no intention of changing its path. They have no intention of abandoning their nuclear program. Instead, unbelievably, they claimed that they will be a responsible nuclear power. They show no sense of responsibility to their neighbors, over whom they fire their ballistic missiles. They show no sense of responsibility to the people they force into modern slavery. As North Korea's missile capabilities advance, so too do the contempt and disregard they show for this Council. They have repeatedly and willfully rebuffed our unanimous will. They continue to act in brazen violation of their legal obligations, and they seek to undermine our systems and our collective values. Last week, we all confirmed we must use all the diplomatic and economic tools at our disposal to deliver the uncompromising message that this path is unacceptable. And today, we are doing just that. Through the adoption of this resolution, we are showing the regime that our will is strong and that these provocative actions have severe consequences. Today, we have banned the import of nearly 90% of refined petroleum products to North Korea. These products are used by the regime to resource their illegal nuclear and ballistic missile programs. By cutting off this supply, we will restrict their ability to develop and deploy these weapons. We've also banned North Korean exports of food products, machinery, and industrial and electrical equipment. We've taken another important step to end the exploitation of North Korean workers who are sent overseas with the sole aim of generating earnings for the regime. We've taken these steps to restrict the income the DPRK uses to fund its prohibited nuclear and ballistic missile programs. I congratulate the United States on this diplomatic achievement, and we join them in leaving no stone unturned in pursuit of a diplomatic solution. We call on all states to implement this resolution and previous resolutions fully. It is only by all of us doing this that they will have the intended impact. These measures are not designed to hurt the North Korean people. We're not targeting the ordinary citizens of North Korea. There are humanitarian exemptions and protections in place to protect the people who already suffer so much at the hands of the government. It is the regime that bears full responsibility for the measures we have enacted today. Any consequences the people suffer are because of the regime's reckless choices. The choice to develop its nuclear program over providing for its people. We must stand united and be clear that we are adopting these measures today to force Kim Jong-un to see that he has the choice of two paths. The current path does not advance the prosperity and security of North Korea. It instead poses a very real threat to the entire international community. So we once again call on North Korea to change course. Let us all once again call on them to prioritize the well-being of their people over their illegal pursuit of nuclear weapons. Let us once again call on them to engage meaningfully with the international community. The United Kingdom will continue to work with the members of this Council, our allies, our partners, to increase diplomatic pressure. And this resolution, just enacted, gives us an opportunity to do just that. We must all enforce these new measures and work together using all the diplomatic and economic tools at our disposal to deliver this clear, uncompromising message to the Kim regime. Thank you.
I thank the representative of the United Kingdom for his statement. I give the floor to the representative of Kazakhstan.
Mr. President, we very much regret that North Korea continues to tirelessly develop its nuclear program.
You're joining us now. 15-0, the UN has officially passed more sanctions against North Korea. This is a response to the November 29th testing of their most powerful ICBM yet. And what this means about putting the screws to the economy, 90% of oil imports at this time will now be cut to the country. They need that to keep their economy afloat. They're also calling for North Koreans working abroad to return home within the next 12 months. And they're cracking down on shipping as well. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, calling this the most tragic example of evil in the modern world.